check this feed real quick. All right, hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before we get started, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakradash. Double honors once again, as always, and to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. Peace, much love, and salutations as always into those who elect. And just a impromptu all through the spirit and probably how about Shai, Lord's will, it'd be edifying to the elect. Okay. And like I said, it'll be something real quick. I'm gonna start here at Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, and verse 2. All right. It says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it." And ultimately, this is when we're going to see the kingdom of heaven, be established here on the planet Earth. Okay, that mountain of the Lord's, all right, of Yahweh Shai, that is that governing body, the 144,000. Okay, Mount Zion, if you will. The scriptures speak about that. Okay, because in the scriptures, sometimes mountains can represent governments. All right, but ultimately, the mountain of the Lord, the mountain of the Lord's house being established is us being in those new bodies, okay, being under Yahweh Shai, in unison with Yahweh Shai, okay, with Yahweh Shai Shai, and then ultimately, through, again, Yahweh Shai, King David and the 12, all right, we're going to be ruling. All right, we're going to be in a state of rulership. We're going to be finally free of this madness, okay, that you people know as America. And order will be set up in the kingdom, okay, or order will be set up on the earth, rather, okay, which will be, here on, the kingdom of heaven will be here on earth. All right, it says, oh, Slakia. It says, "And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach of us, Salaki, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." And ultimately, this is how you know this hasn't happened yet, okay? Because the nations are not flowing, to Jerusalem. They're not, in that sense, they're not flowing to Israel. They're not taking counsel, advice from Jerusalem, okay? And this is ultimately when we're going to be, again, in that power state, and we're going to be teaching the heathen. Because, what's that? Is it in here? Let's see. Jeremiah 31. Yep, Jeremiah 31 and 31. I'll start a little bit up. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah." All right, and going into this new covenant, because you had those bug out niggas, okay, over the past couple years, yelling and screaming that they're in a new covenant. Well, it's going to explain it, and this is how we know that we're not fully in it. Are we entering into the new covenant? Yes, but we're not in the new covenant. Okay, we're not experiencing the fullness of the new covenant. All right, and it tells you why, or it explains how why you ain't. It says, "Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I wasn't husband unto them, saith the Lord. Right, because it's like it because through that first covenant, there was ultimately fault because we're in this flesh. So we're not able to keep it to the fullness. All right. That's why and the scriptures speak about us not being justified by the law. Okay, we're justified through faith. We're going to be delivered through our faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai. We don't make void the law. Okay, but ultimately the law is not going to be the end all be all for us. That's not going to be the determining factor of you getting out of here. Your knowledge of certain scriptures or certain laws or so on and so forth. It's going to be your faith, and through your works. Okay. Because that's where's that? Let me see. Actually, I'm gonna look it up on my phone because I want to keep this here. Bear with me 1 second. I think I think it's 2nd Ezra 9. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 9 and 7. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. See, that's how I'll keep it going. Actually, it says, shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me. Fuck you. Damn, beyond the demon. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Right. So again, we're going to be justified by our faith, and you show your faith by your works. Okay. You show your faith by your works. So that's how we're going to get out of here. But going back here, Jeremiah 31, because ultimately, like I said, I was going into the law not, justifying us or what or not. But Jeremiah 31 and 33, it says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts and will be their God and they shall be my people. Right. So once we get those new bodies, all right, matter of fact, let's go here. Hamburger already popped up. 1 Corinthians 15. All right, 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. All right, the header says the mystery of the resurrection, right? It says, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Okay? This shit ain't gonna be happening no more. It's fucking yawning. Tired, man. It's like you. We almost out this bitch, A side note. We almost out this bitch. Verse 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Okay. So ultimately, because we know these bodies ain't going to be able to inherit the kingdom of the Most High. You can't get into the kingdom with these fleshly bodies. You can't be in the state of perfection in this flesh. And the scriptures say, be perfect even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Okay. So, and we're doing the best, to our abilities. All right. Doing the best that we can. But ultimately, we understand through this flesh, as the Apostle Paul said, in my flesh dwelleth no good thing, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. But when we get this new body, okay, Salaki, my words was escaping me. But when we get this new body, okay, and the Most High puts the, that's going to be the Most High putting the laws in our inward parts, so we're not going to, it's going to be written in our hearts, our mind, right? Going into the lab, but we physically or literally will not be able to go off. Okay, every Israelite, man, woman, okay, child, whatever, they're going to come out the womb, and it's just going to be installed in them to know righteousness. Okay, and this is why I got this, because we had started in Isaiah the 2nd chapter. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Right. So we're not going to even have to teach anymore. We're not going to have to do this. Ain't going to be no more lessons. But those teachings, okay, going back here, all right, and Salaki going around a little bit around everywhere. Okay, but I'm just trying to, make these points. But going back here, Isaiah 2 and 3, it says, And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Right. So this is going to be us teaching the heathen. What does verse 4 say? And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords in the plowshares, and their spears in the pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Why? Because peace is going to be installed and back into the earth. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So when the righteous are going to be ruling in their authority, the people are going to be rejoicing. Even the heathen are going to be in a state of, being bountiful, because it says, those that bless you shall be blessed. So and like the Elder Yashwama brings up, often, when it's not just going to be a continual period of just beating niggas' ass, it's going to get to a point. Yeah, we had that 1,000 years of hardcore bondage. Okay, but after that fact, man, like the heathen are going to be able to go to their land and live. And we ain't going to be doing nothing crazy to them. Granted, if you go off, we're going to judge you. Okay, as it says, he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, because they're still going to be in the flesh. So they're going to be going off. They're going to be going off like a motherfucker. But, we'll have, men, okay, to handle those situations. Whether it be, the lower men of our nation, or ultimately really the other men of the heathen. You got a Hamite in charge of niggas or whatever. And again, they're going to be in the flesh. They're not going to have access to what we have access to. But there's going to be a lot of micromanaging amongst them. But it's all going to be in order. It's all going to be righteous under Yahweh Shemal Shai. Okay? But, I mean, that was it, man. I just wanted to put that up. Something real quick. Okay, Lord's will. It was edifying to the elect. And before we close, once again, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakodash. All right, and double honors once again, as always, to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who well and taught us truth. Peace, much love, and salutations always to those elect. To the next one, Shalom.